All right, everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. Today, we're tackling a topic that's got the whole world buzzing: Trump and crypto.
It's a wild ride, that's for sure.
Seriously, we dug into some recent news from Forbes, and let me tell you, it's a roller coaster.
Absolutely. It's fascinating how Trump's involvement in crypto has, evolved over time.
Right. From his early statements about Bitcoin to his family's ventures, it seems like he's gone all in on this new financial world.
He really has.
Okay, so let's rewind a bit first. Back in 2024, during his campaign, Trump made some, let's say, interesting statements about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
He actually promised a strategic national Bitcoin reserve.
Right.
He even compared Bitcoin's potential market cap to, get this, gold.
That's right. And remember his concerns about China leading in the crypto space.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That definitely highlights the potential strategic thinking behind his interest in Bitcoin. You know, it's interesting to see how those early ideas are now taking shape, but in a different form with his recent announcements.
Fast forward to today, and bam, Trump drops this bombshell announcement about a U.S. crypto reserve. It's kind of like those strategic oil reserves, but for digital assets this time.
It is. It's unprecedented, really. Applying the concept of a strategic reserve, which is usually used for essential commodities like oil, to the world of crypto. Wow. This raises a lot of questions about the potential strategic goals behind it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, is it about stabilizing prices, or is it ensuring access to key technologies, or maybe is it a play for greater control over the evolving financial landscape?
Who knows? But his announcement specifically listed XRP, Solana, and Cardano as part of this reserve.
Interesting.
And what I find interesting is that Bitcoin, even though it's like the most well-known cryptocurrency, wasn't specifically mentioned.
That's true. And yet the market reacted, pretty strongly. We saw prices surge not just for those cryptos he listed, but Bitcoin too.
It's crazy.
It really is. It suggests that Trump's endorsement carries a lot of weight, even without him actually mentioning Bitcoin directly.
For sure.
You know, it's a real testament to his influence in this space, especially considering his earlier uncertainties about crypto regulation during his presidency.
Speaking of uncertainty, things get even more intriguing when we look at what Trump's family's up to in the crypto world.
Oh, yeah.
Remember those Trump digital trading cards? The Ween coins?
Ah, yes, those. They were launched with a lot of fanfare, right?
Yeah.
But then their value plummeted, really quickly.
They did.
It just goes to show how volatile the meme coin market can be. Hype and speculation often drive prices much more than any kind of underlying utility.
Right. But meme coins aside, there's some serious business happening too. World Liberty Financial, a company backed by the Trump family, has been buying something called wrapped Bitcoin, I think.
Wrapped Bitcoin, that's right.
What is that?
Well, for those who might not know, wrapped Bitcoin is essentially a way to use Bitcoin on other blockchains, not just Bitcoin's own. It's a way to bridge those different crypto ecosystems, and that opens up new possibilities for trading and investing.
Interesting.
Oh, and World Liberty Financial is also planning a platform for stablecoins and crypto lending.
Wow.
Yeah, it just adds another layer to their involvement in the crypto space.
It really does. And then there's the Trump Media and Technology Group, the company behind Truth Social, right?
Right.
They're trying to launch a Bitcoin ETF.
They are, and they're going up against some giants like BlackRock and Fidelity.
That's bold.
It really shows their serious intention to establish themselves in the crypto investment world.
So what exactly is a Bitcoin ETF?
Well, a Bitcoin ETF, or exchange-traded fund, would basically make it easier for traditional investors to gain exposure to Bitcoin without actually owning the cryptocurrency directly.
Oh, I see.
It's potentially a game changer in terms of mainstream adoption.
Yeah.
It could really blur those lines between traditional finance and the world of digital assets.
It's almost like they're building a whole Trump-branded crypto empire.
It does seem that way, doesn't it?
But this whole thing raises some questions, right?
It does.
I mean, what are the implications of a former U.S. president and his family being so deeply invested in this industry?
Exactly.
Does it legitimize crypto in the eyes of the public and regulators? Does it raise concerns?
Oh, valid question.
It's a very complex situation with potentially far-reaching consequences.
It is.
So we've got Trump talking the talk and his family walking the walk. But how does this all fit into the wider context of crypto regulation in the U.S.?
Right.
Especially considering the Biden administration's, previous stance on crypto.
Yeah, that's a key point. The Biden administration has taken a more cautious approach, focusing on consumer protection and trying to mitigate those risks associated with cryptocurrencies.
Right.
Now, with Trump back in the picture and pushing this whole crypto reserve concept, well, it could completely change the regulatory landscape.
It's like a game of crypto chess.
It really is.
And each move has massive implications.
Absolutely. The stakes are high. We're talking about the future of finance, the role of technology in our lives, and maybe even the balance of power on the world stage.
It's crazy to think how much the whole conversation around crypto has shifted, like, so quickly.
Right.
We've gone from debating if it's even legit to former presidents launching meme coins and proposing national crypto reserves.
It really shows you just how disruptive technology can be.
Yeah.
And how it forces us to reevaluate all those traditional systems we have. The financial world is no exception.
No, not at all. So let's zoom out for a second and talk about what all this means for the average person, someone who maybe dabbles in crypto or has heard about Bitcoin, but they're not out there building a financial empire like the Trumps. What's the takeaway for them?
Well, I think the main takeaway here is that crypto is, while it's becoming more mainstream and almost impossible to avoid, yeah, it's not some niche technology anymore, the kind that only tech enthusiasts really understand. We're seeing these major players, from former presidents to well-established financial institutions, they're all entering the crypto world.
So it's getting serious.
It really is. It signals a growing acceptance and integration of digital assets into that broader financial system we talked about.
So ignoring crypto is just like getting harder to do.
Exactly. Whether you're, a seasoned investor or just starting to explore digital assets, you need to stay informed about these developments. They're crucial.
Why is that?
Well, the decisions made by governments and by influential people like Trump, they have this ripple effect on the entire crypto ecosystem.
Okay, got it. Let's say someone's listening and they're thinking, okay, this all sounds kind of interesting, but where do I even begin? What advice would you give them?
Well, first and foremost, I'd tell them to do their research.
Research, okay.
There's so much information online, but you have to be careful. Start with those reputable sources, things like industry publications, or educational websites. And communities with a good track record of providing, accurate and balanced information.
It's like anything new, right? You don't just jump in head first without understanding the basics.
Exactly. You got to take some time to educate yourself, learn the fundamentals of blockchain technology, the different types of cryptocurrencies, the risks involved.
Lots to learn.
There is, but don't be afraid to ask questions. There are a lot of online forums and communities where you can connect with those more experienced crypto folks.
Oh, good tip. So start slow, do your research, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
That's the gist of it.
But let's be real. Part of what makes this whole Trump and crypto thing so interesting is just how unpredictable it all is. So what do you think is going to happen next?
Well, if there's one thing we've learned from Donald Trump, it's that he loves to keep us guessing. I think we can expect more bold moves, more attention-grabbing announcements, and probably a good amount of market volatility, too.
Sounds like we're in for a wild ride.
We are. It's like watching a financial thriller, but it's all happening in real time. And, the plot's far from over. The potential implications of a U.S. crypto reserve are huge.
Wow.
We could see a shift in those global financial power dynamics, maybe a change in regulatory approaches around the world, potentially even impacting the value of the U.S. dollar.
So how could these developments, like this crypto reserve, affect someone personally?
Well, one way it could impact them is through the value of, let's say, their crypto holdings.
Right.
Think about it. If the U.S. government is investing in and promoting specific cryptocurrencies, it could, boost confidence and drive up demand, leading to higher prices.
So that could be good for crypto investors.
Potentially, yeah. But we can't forget that crypto markets are highly volatile and they're affected by a lot of different things.
Right.
Government actions are just one part of that puzzle.
So it's not a sure thing. There's still risk.
Absolutely. Investing in crypto, it always carries risk. Regulations are always changing, and unpredictable events can impact market prices.
Got it.
It's crucial to approach any crypto investment with caution and a long-term view.
Okay, good advice. And speaking of the regulatory landscape, Trump's actions seem to be shaking things up a bit.
They are.
So how do you think this will all play out with the current administration and are their stance on crypto?
Well, that's going to be fascinating to watch. The current administration has really been trying to create a clear regulatory framework for crypto.
Right.
Prioritizing consumer protection, mitigating those risks we talked about.
And Trump's actions seem to be going in a different direction.
They do. It's like he's pushing for a more hands-on approach, with this whole crypto reserve idea.
It creates this clash of ideologies.
It does. Will the administration feel pressure to change their stance to keep up with Trump's initiatives? Will they double down on their focus on regulation? Or will we see something entirely new? It's hard to tell.
It's like a game of crypto chess, but on a global scale this time.
It is. And the moves made in this game, they have real-world consequences. Businesses, investors, average people, everyone is affected. The future of finance is being decided right now.
It's pretty intense.
It is, and that's why it's so important to stay informed and engaged in this ever-changing landscape.
It feels like we're at this crossroads with crypto.
Yeah.
On one hand, there's this big push for it to be mainstream, with big names like the Trumps jumping in.
Right.
But then on the other hand, there's still so much we don't know about regulation and what this all means in the long run.
It is kind of paradoxical, isn't it? The more mainstream crypto gets, the more everyone wants to regulate it.
Yeah, I guess that's just what happens with any new tech that shakes things up.
Exactly.
But okay, let's go back to Trump for a second. What do you think? Is this a genuine thing? Does he really believe in crypto? Or is it more like a strategic play? Maybe even a way to poke at the existing financial system?
It's tough to say for sure. I mean, Trump's always been really good at branding and marketing himself.
Sure.
So this could just be a smart business move, He sees this growing industry and wants to capitalize on it.
Makes sense.
But it's also totally possible that he sees crypto as this tool to shake things up, disrupt the status quo and maybe even shift the balance of power in global finance.
It's kind of like a new chapter in the whole Trump story, but is it something bigger than that? Are we seeing the start of a whole new era for digital assets?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Trump's definitely making waves. There's no doubt about that. Whether this is just another twist in his unpredictable career or the beginning of something totally new for crypto, well, only time will tell.
True. But whatever his reasons are, what does this mean for the future of crypto, globally? Will other countries start doing the same thing, creating their own strategic reserves?
It's definitely a possibility. When the U.S. makes a move like this, it can trigger a domino effect.
Yeah.
Other countries might feel like they have to do something similar to keep up, establish their own position in the crypto world. We might even see a whole race to develop national digital currencies, each one backed by government reserves.
Whoa, that's intense, like digital currency wars.
It's a possibility. But for the average person, the key takeaway here is that crypto is getting more and more tied up with global politics and finance.
It's not just a tech thing anymore.
Exactly. What governments and influential figures do will have real consequences for everyone. Even if you're not a big investor, this stuff matters.
So what should people be paying attention to? What's your advice?
I'd say stay informed, be cautious, and don't get swept up in all the hype.
Good advice.
Do your research, understand the risks, and think about the long term before you make any decisions about investing.
Solid advice. This is a crazy ride, and it doesn't seem like it's slowing down anytime soon.
Not at all. Crypto's always changing. It's a fast-paced world, and those who stay informed and adapt, well, they'll have the advantage.
All right, everyone, that's a wrap for our deep dive into the world of Trump and crypto.
It's been fun.
We covered a lot today, from Trump's early thoughts on Bitcoin to what his family's doing, to the potential impact of a U.S. crypto reserve on the whole world.
We did. Hopefully our listeners have a better understanding of this complex and ever-changing world now.
And remember, this is just the beginning. The crypto story is still being written, and you don't want to miss what happens next. Stay curious, stay informed, and as always, thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.